Hey ladies and gents, welcome back. This is going to be part 2 to What If Naruto Was a Demon. So, that being said, make sure to like and subscribe if you do end up enjoying this video, and without further ado, let's just jump right into the what if where we left off, which was the start of the C rank mission that they were actually going to do, which was obviously the Land of Waves mission guiding the bridge builder. So they talk to Hiruzen about it, he lets them do it, they're like, alright, fine, whatever, I guess you can go on the mission even though you guys are really inexperienced, and they get their mission. So they meet at the gate with Tazuna the next day, and he's not drunk anymore, and they have like their actual formal meeting rather than him just trying to insult everybody, so yeah. They do that, and they, shortly after, actually do end up leaving the village. After a few hours of walking, they're just kind of like, you know, they're chilling. They don't think anything's really gonna happen, like they're on guard, but Kakashi didn't like explicitly tell them, be really on guard about things around you because this is a really high-ranking mission because it's not supposed to be. They're just supposed to be able to like walk through and not really have anything else to worry about. So they go for a little bit until eventually the puddle incident ends up happening. So something different here is that Naruto would actually be able to sense the two of them there. He can sense it through some different form of bloodlust, so he's actually able to tell that there's something human inside of the puddle, which he doesn't really understand, but then he decides it's probably just a genjutsu. So Naruto actually realizing this, that means that Kakashi would never be attacked. He wouldn't really have to like fake it because Naruto would just stop them both almost immediately. Some black arms come out of Naruto, not like the kind of like his chakra cloak, and it just kind of grabs them, slamming them to the ground, knocking them out pretty much instantly, and that fight is pretty much over. Kakashi puts them inside of seals so they can take them back later, and the rest of the mission just kind of goes on. They're getting a little bit suspicious now, but with how easily Naruto was actually able to take out those Chunin brothers, they think, whatever, there's probably not anybody that's that much stronger that's going to be here, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. However, their worries were actually there for a reason, because there is a much stronger person that is actually after, you know, Tazuna, and that is Zabuza. And as people start thinking about, okay, I wonder if there's anybody stronger, that is where the mist comes in. But it's a lot thicker than it would normally be, along with the fact that Naruto and Kakashi can kind of feel bloodlust in it. So they know that there's something that's going to happen, there's something coming, so both of them at the same time yell duck when the sword flies over, and everybody gets out of the way of it. Naruto decides to let Kakashi do his like original thing because he wants to be the one to fight Zabuza, so he just, whatever, I'll let him, even though, you know, he could easily defeat him if he really wanted to. So Kakashi goes, and his and Tazuna's fight, Zabuza, not Tazuna, if he fought Tazuna that wouldn't really go well for him, but you get the point. And their fight goes pretty much original, like, you know, similar to canon. He gets trapped inside of a water prison, and Naruto ends up having to help him out. But there is something a little bit different here, and that's that Naruto and Sasuke would not both go, it would just be Naruto. He unveils something like I was saying, kind of like his chakra cloak, how like the arms come out, and they form 9 tails behind Naruto, mixing a little bit with the 9 tails and like demon, I guess, chakra. I don't even know if it's demon chakra or demon power, what exactly it would be called. I'm just gonna call it demon chakra, so it's gonna be KCM demon, I don't fucking know. Well, we're just gonna call it the QB demon, because why not? That's what I'm going with now. So, with that actually happening, some, like, orange chakra begins, like, going around Naruto before it quickly gets covered in this absolute black shroud, and you can't really see Naruto through it. It's kind of like a big amalgamation, I guess you could say. It's like covering Naruto like feet away from his body, but then it soon recedes, and Naruto gets something similar to, like I said, a KCM chakra cloak, except it's much darker because, you know, demon kind of go together. Whatever, or maybe it's purple for all I fucking know. But Naruto gets that, and he just sprints across the water, just kind of skipping across it towards Zabuza, and he slams him. Zabuza doesn't have time to make clones, or react, or do anything, and Naruto just punches him, slamming him way away from the water prison. Kakashi is released, and Zabuza actually takes pretty heavy damage from it. Naruto takes over in the fight from here, and Haku actually ends up coming out early, seeing just how fast Naruto was. He was barely able to even, like, see him moving, so he might need to do something about that. So he jumps down, and he traps Naruto immediately in the demonic ice mirrors, and Kakashi goes and fights Zabuza once again, realizing that Naruto's not really going to be able to get out of that too easily, at least that's what he thinks. So, massive arms, once again, just kind of spread out of Naruto, breaking all of the mirrors, and just kind of like shattering them. Haku actually gets hit by one of the hands, and gets sent flying out, with his mask actually breaking, revealing that Haku kind of looks like a girl, but Naruto doesn't really give a shit in this what if, he doesn't really care too much. So he just kind of kills Haku. And Kakashi would end up doing the same to Zabuza, since there's no Haku to interfere with that, and the mission goes pretty smoothly from there. They go back and they go to Tasuna's house. Kakashi is still tired because he used the Sharingan, which makes him bedridden for a while. So they do their normal training. Sasuke and Sakura do tree walking, but Naruto, already knowing how to do that, doesn't actually need to, and he focuses on something else. That is to develop a new ability. So far, all he has is the enhanced power, the arms, and that mind control thing he's actually able to use. But he wants more. He needs more. He thinks he needs more power, and so he's going to try to draw it out. Naruto sits and meditates and is pretty much talking to the inner demon in himself. And it's not like the way that most people are, like, you know, thinking about it, like talking to your demons or like that kind of stuff. No, it's like Naruto's literally like in his mind talking to demons. So he goes and he begins like talking to them, trying to get them to awaken his powers or tell him how he can like get stronger, how they did it. But none of them really want to talk to Naruto because he's half human, so why would they really want to? Even though he is technically kind of a demon, they don't really consider Naruto one of their own. So they decide not to really help Naruto at all, except for one. One of the lesser demons, and kind of how like the power system goes, I guess you could say, would be similar to like Black Clover, where the more powerful the demon, generally the more intelligent they are, and the less powerful ones generally are like animals, pretty much. So it would kind of be like that, except this one was different. It was a very low-ranking devil, but its intelligence seemed to be just great. It seemed to be so high. And he was trying to explain to Naruto how he could awaken black hole magic. Yeah, I'm doing this. We're having some fun here, because why not? So Naruto begins training for this, and we'll just say that when he's in this other realm, I guess you could say, when he's meditating, time passes by like 10 times faster. So it's not like the hyperbolic time chamber, but, you know, it speeds up time by quite a bit. So as Naruto like is, you know, doing this and he's training to try to unlock these abilities, he is actually able to do so. He has a couple months to actually be able to, because of how I said the training works, and with Naruto's massive amount of chakra, along with the fact that he's pretty much a genius, he'd be able to actually not master the technique, but actually be able to use black hole magic to a certain extent and be able to control it a little bit before it would just kind of like destroy everything, because that was one of the main reasons Naruto wanted to learn this ability so much, was because it has the potential to like destroy everything. So he decided it might be a good idea for him to be able to learn something like that. So he comes out of his, like, you know, psyche. He's been meditating for days straight now, and Naruto stands up. Everybody looks out over at him, and Naruto holds out his hand. And this massive, well, not massive, but this orb of black energy, you know, just comes in Naruto's hands as it, you know, circles and swives. Everybody feels this, like, kind of pulling force towards it, except for Naruto, because obviously it wouldn't really do that. As objects from around, like, you know, the area that they were in begin getting sucked into the black hole. Naruto kind of, like, dismantles it. He doesn't really want to accidentally kill anybody, at least not yet. And just thinking to himself, yeah, that's gonna be kind of strong. I'm not gonna lie. Naruto just used like a tiny black hole, like the one like the size of a Rasengan. So Naruto would be able to make it much, much bigger and be able to like literally absorb the entire Earth if he really wanted to, but he's gonna try not to do that. He might do it on accident, but he hopes not. So Naruto goes on, and eventually they do go to where the bridge is, and they finish building it. Naruto continuing to train and try to master his black hole magic, which he does to the extent that he's not just, like I said, going to accidentally destroy the world. And after they head back to the village, they begin training even more for a few weeks. They don't really have many missions, but eventually Kakashi brings up a proposition. The actual Chunin exams. Yeah, that's right. We're doing this because that's kind of what happens next. They all agree to do it. They're like, yeah, sure. Sounds like it could be a fun time. So they actually start the Chunin exams. So with the Chunin exams actually starting, obviously speaking, it's gonna go pretty easily for Naruto in the first few phases, or all phases just in general, because Naruto is not only like this like super genius, so the actual like testing part of it is just completely too easy for Naruto. He answers all the questions, and the Forest of Death would actually begin. They all head off in different directions, and because of the fact that Naruto is able to sense bloodlust, he goes to the strongest person, or the person with the most bloodlust that he can actually sense that's also relatively close to him once they enter the forest. And that person happens to be Gaara. So they actually, begin having like a little bit of a squabble, and Naruto fights Gaara, and the other two people kind of just, sit around while the main fight actually happens, because everybody just kind of wants to watch. Like, the two strongest people of like each of their respective villages are going to fight now, so they kind of want to watch this. It could be interesting. So Naruto activates his cloak, and he decides that he might as well show just how powerful he actually is, as a massive black hole comes out of Naruto's hands, probably about the size of like Rasen Shuriken or something like that, from like when Naruto used it against Kakuzu. So not massive, but still pretty fucking big. And that comes out, and everybody in the area just immediately gets sucked off the ground towards it. Naruto realized he might have made it a little bit too big, and he's not actually able to control it and make it disappear instantly. So Gaara, Sakura, Sasuke, pretty much everybody there except for Naruto gets sucked into the black hole, and before Naruto's actually able to reverse the jutsu, so they all die. And Naruto takes the scroll and moves on. He gets back, and he doesn't obviously want to just tell Kakashi that he killed his two teammates. So he decides to make up a bit of a story and say, because he knows that Gaara was the one-tailed Jinchuriki, because he can sense the bloodlust from inside of him, he actually just decides to make up a pretty believable story, actually. And that is just that Gaara kind of just lost control and the one-tails took over. It killed both of them. I kind of got lost in rage, and then I killed it with I don't really know what happened. And Kakashi's like, he's like, I've had moments where I've blacked out because of rage too. Okay, Naruto, I'll believe you. So Naruto just killed everybody that he was fighting, and everybody's just fine with it because they don't really know. So Naruto, proceeds through the rest of the exams, and Orochimaru just kind of leaves at this point. He doesn't really have any reason to be here anymore, because he doesn't know how Sasuke died. He just know it happened, and he doesn't really have any other reason to be there other than for that sweet Uchiha body, so he just leaves. Gaara is dead, so the sand attack is never actually gonna happen. So Sasuke, Gaara, and all of Team 7 is gone, along with whoever was on Gaara's team, so Tamari and Kankuro. So this is kind of where the exams would just get cancelled at this point. The top people of many different classes and villages just got incinerated, and nobody really knows how they died, where they are, or what is even happening with them. So the exams actually just gets cancelled, and Naruto has decided to be promoted to a Chunin anyway because of his showings of power throughout the actual exam itself. So they're like, alright, good luck next year, I guess, pretty much to all of them. And Sasuke obviously isn't going to be leaving the village. That doesn't really make much sense. And one other thing that is quite interesting, I guess you could say, is that Naruto doesn't go on his, years-long training trip. He doesn't really have a reason to. He's already really powerful. So, and he also doesn't have to get, you know, strong to be able to catch up to Sasuke, along with the fact that he's already more powerful than most of the Akatsuki. He doesn't really need a training arc. So Naruto would go, and I'm like trying to make this interesting, but with how OP I already made Naruto, it's not really going to be that interesting. Like literally, Obito is the only one in the Akatsuki who could even try to survive Naruto's like simplest, like pretty small black hole attack that he could like just spam. So most of the Akatsuki are really easily defeated, leaving pretty much just Obito. And because of the fact that Orochimaru did actually manage to live, he probably would have done like the same thing as Kabuto, and he'd join Obito in the Fourth Great Ninja World War. Some of the Jinchuriki had already been gathered. The One Tails obviously can't because it died. Or it didn't die, but it hasn't like revived yet, like the chakra hasn't. But most of the others have actually already been gathered, including the Eight Tails this time. The Akatsuki got it early, and pretty much all they have left to do is to get Naruto and the One Tails. And Naruto's first because they can't get the One Tails yet. So it would pretty much go like this, like their fight. It wouldn't be that interesting. Naruto would try to fight them. Naruto would realize Obito has Kamui, and he would just still... Naruto is not only much faster than he was even in, like, probably, like, late war arc, like, after he already got his, like, Sage of Six Paths power-up, so Obito's doing nothing to him. But he has black hole magic. He can't teleport or do anything like weird like that, but he has complete mind control, so he could just do that to Obito. And he has weird chakra arm things, and, you know, black hole magic is kind of strong. So Obito gets literally shit on. Same thing with Orochimaru, and the world would kind of just like live under Naruto's reign and fear for like the next hundreds of years. Because of the fact that Naruto is half demon, he actually lives a much longer time. So hundreds of years would go by. Anybody who even like remotely got anywhere near Naruto would just die. Like any Otsutsuki that came, death. Like nothing would really affect anything. It would pretty much just be a peaceful place until Naruto eventually died, or somebody somehow, someway was able to overtake him, and the world would just kind of like return to not necessarily the cycle, because like Kaguya and all of them are already dead at this point, along with most of the actual Otsutsuki in general. So yeah, that's about where I'm gonna end this part off. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out, bye.